Vod Rabbanim, Rosh Yeshiva, Rosh Ha'ir, Kol Ha'anashim Hachshuvim Shepo. I'm going to give equal time to the English speakers. The question we ask is, why do we commemorate an event of 50 years ago? Why is it important in a time and age when people want to forget? People have no patience for history. Young people don't want to know. They want everything done in 140 letters. They have no interest and no patience for history. For us, it is unique to Judaism that history is not about the past, it is about the future. For us, we look back in order to look forward. All of our chagim are not just meant to be ritual observances, they're meant to be experiential. We learned what our avos and imahos went through. We understand from them, we learn the lessons from them. Churchill once said, the further back you look, the further ahead you will see. Our Chazal said it 1,000 years earlier. They taught us that we have to look back to learn the lessons, not to dwell on the tzaros of the past, but to prevent future generations from having to go through those tzaros. So for us, history is not what it is for the world. It is zechira. There's no Hebrew word for history. Zechira is a dynamic process that we have to understand what led to things and what came out of it, not just what occurred at that moment. We look back to 50 years ago to understand, why did it happen? What are the lessons we learned from it? And it was never more important than now when we see that UNESCO, the United Nations, votes overwhelmingly to declare that all the makomos that we hold sacred are only known by their Muslim names. First, they voted to hyphenate them. The Kotel is also Al-Barak's wall, named for Muhammad's horse, who supposedly went up after him, one end or the other. Muhammad never visited Israel in his lifetime. Kever Rachel is now named for his chauffeur, his driver. The same for Marat HaMachpelah. The same for Har HaBayit, Nom Nel Haram Al-Sharif. And you think with all of the tzaros that the world has and the Arab nations have, 12 or 13 of them at war right now, they all have internal problems, external problems. Why do they focus? Why do they waste this energy? Just to denigrate us? Because after the first vote, now they voted this year to drop all the names, to deny 3,800 years of Jewish history, all the scientific facts, all the historic facts. Because they understand better than us that if you take away our past, you take away our future. That if we don't understand where we came from, who we are, starting with Malki Tzedek with Avraham Avinu, looking at when Avraham Avinu came for Akedas Yitzchak, and he brought Yishmael and Eliezer, and he said to them, look, what do you see when he looked at Har HaBayit? And they said, we see a wilderness. And he said to Yitzchak, what do you see? And he said, I see a holy place, a Makom Kadosh. So he said to Eliezer and Yishmael, you stay here, Imach Amar, because you see what the donkey sees. The question to us, to all of you and especially the young people, do you see what the donkey sees? Or do you see the reality, the miracle, the nisim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu blessed us with? If you look at every day, every shovel in the ground, at Ir David, at Minorot HaKotel, for the light railroad, every shovel in the ground uncovers things of our past. It brings Tanakh to life. It validates everything in Tanakh. Not one thing contradicts it. All of these discoveries, tens of thousands of things each year. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is sending you a message They want to deny it. I'll reaffirm it. I'll show it to you in a rock with a menorah on it, in the bell from a kohen's gown. I'll show you all of these simanim. You don't have bitachon, you don't have amunah, you don't believe. Here it is, in the bedrock of mountains. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to have the strength to stand up against it and to tell the world, never again. Nobody will ever take it away. It's ours forever. Rav Tzvi Yehuda Kook, Zatzal, after the signing of the San Remo agreement, he put on his big day Shabbos. And the clowns and the bogdim in the street started harassing him and said, why are you wearing big day Shabbos? And he said to them, Kol ha-misabel al Yerushalayim, zocha v'roya es simchaseh. So, and he explained to them, why doesn't it say es b'minyana? Why doesn't it say simchaseh? Why doesn't it say the buildings? And he answered, because everybody, every Am Haaretz can see a building. Only those who are misabel al Yerushalayim, who really meant it, who cared, they will see the true simcha of Yerushalayim. I once asked a crowd of 10,000 non-Jews, who can name the Meraglim who came back with the negative report? And 10,000 people sat quiet. I said, who can name the two who came back with a positive report? And 10,000 people got up on their chairs and yelled, Call it Yeshua, call it, over and over and over again. And I said, that's the lesson of history. Those who stand with Israel and with Yerushalayim are remembered forever. Those who speak against Israel are written off to history. They will not be remembered. The one precondition that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set for every miracle, for every nace that occurred to the Jewish people, there was only one miracle, one thing that was a precondition. From when we stood at Har Sinai, Keish Achad, Belev Achad, to the rest, to Lech Knossos, Kol HaYehudim on Purim, to every miracle, to the rescue of Russian Jews and Ethiopian Jews and Syrian Jews. That was Achdut of Klal Yisrael. That's the one thing HaKadosh Baruch Hu demands of us, and all of us have to work for it now and forever to ensure that we don't keep destroying the Beis HaMikdash. How soon it might have been built if we were behaving differently. Achdut is the one precondition. And this is something each of us can do. Each of us can contribute. And if we look back and learn the lessons of history, then your children and your grandchildren and their grandchildren will thank you for keeping their Morashah, not just their Yerusha, the Morashah of Israel and Torah safe for them and for all generations to come.